That's not a comic book. Now that's a comic book.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Comic Reviews. I'm Sid Part 2. Joining me today is Danny the Lizard. He's down there and you may see him being a dork because he does that. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get right into it. We'll start out with the kind of the oddball book this week, Batman Beyond number 2. So here we get more of this Tim Drake being Batman Beyond, and like I said last time with the first issue, I don't entirely know what's going on because I didn't read Future's End, but this episode's a lot more clear. And what I really like about it is it's Tim Drake being Batman, but like not perfect at it, like everyone just has always assumed he would be. Like I've always heard Tim Drake fans talk about him becoming Batman, how he would be so good at it and everything. And we saw in Battle for the Cowl that he just wasn't ready yet, and then here he's certainly of age at this point, even though that makes, DC and age is so crazy right now. But he's certainly come of age in this issue, and that works better for him. But yeah, it's still kind of just an odd issue, and he's having trouble struggling to be Batman. It doesn't help that he doesn't know anything that's going on in the world right now. But you get a cool fight with Ink, which he loses. That's always interesting. You have this post-apocalyptic world going on, continuing, and you're finding out more about it, which just makes this issue a lot more helpful to jump onto than I think the last issue was. The last issue pretty much assumed that you read Future's End, which I did not. But yeah, so he's actually getting criticized for not being Terry McGinnis, which is kind of neat. I don't know, I'm curious to see how it goes on. Right now, it's fun, it's good, but it's not like really wowing me yet. I'm waiting for something really good to happen with this book. And right now they're testing the waters and just doing kind of cliffhanger endings right now, so that's fine. There's this weird cult thing going on, like brainwashing kind of cult of personality thing. And it looks like that face right there looks like one of those meme faces. I'm trying to remember. It's like the Me Gusta face, I think. It's just a really silly panel to me. I mean, look at her. It's funny to me. So there's kind of this creepy smiling thing going on, and that's interesting enough. But yeah, so far it's just okay, but not in a bad way. It's just, it's a comic book. It's all right for right now. I'm going to keep picking it up because I like Batman Beyond, and I'm curious to see where they're going with everything. It's definitely an alternate version of Batman Beyond, though, because Barbara Gordon's, still got red hair and everything, so... I don't really feel like this is the continuation in any way, shape, or form of the DCAU show that the last Batman Beyond title was. Here's an idea, DC. Quit canceling good books. Alright. And then the main piece today is I picked up all the other issues of Darth Vader that my comic shop has. They had 1, 4, 5, and then issue 7 came out today, and I reviewed issue 6, I think, on my first show. Or my first comic review video, so you can go check out that if you want. And I'm just going to kind of I'll talk about all three of these just kind of as one, and then I'll talk about the new issue. So this is just setting up all the background that I wasn't aware of last time, but the director's cut issue, by the way, of number 1, because they've got to keep coming up with reasons to re-release this comic book, because I think this is like the 7th printing or whatever. So I like the idea of what's going on in this Darth Vader book, where, just the premise of being a Sith is so damn, aggravating, because you just would constantly be tried, and someone would be trying to kill you. And not only when you're an apprentice, someone would be trying to kill you, but when you eventually become a master, someone would always be trying to kill you. So it's one of those fascinating little things, and this kind of delving into how that isn't really the lifestyle that the Anakin Skywalker we saw in the prequels was really expecting. And so you get the impression that this has slowly become it, and it's turned into this web of secrecy between himself and Palpatine, or the Emperor, whichever you prefer. So like this web of secrets has evolved between them, and now they have to deal with. Now they're both playing against each other in the background. This issue came with a script, which was cool. So they're just dealing with each other and trying to outmaneuver one another, which is really interesting stuff. So you have Vader who gets a hold of a droid army for himself and storms this this colony, or this base that the Emperor was creating, these kind of cyborg force users, or not even force users, these cyborg Siths, where they didn't even really use the force. It was just all technology dependent, which is kind of cool. It reminds me a lot. You can feel a lot of Clone Wars coming into these books. This issue in particular, issue number 4, had a lot of had a lot to do with Geonosis, which was a very big deal in the Clone Wars series, and there's a reference to the second movie in here as well. I never thought that something would be able to do this, but a book has managed to actually make me like Anakin via Darth Vader. Which is weird, because, the reason that everyone hates Anakin Skywalker is because you took Darth Vader, who's, such a badass, and then made him into a little whiny girl. But in this, they actually managed to take those memories of Anakin and put them in Darth Vader's head, and it makes his character so much more interesting than he already was. So I'm actually able to like Anakin in retrospect because of that. It's perfect. Good job, writers. Whoever, Gillen, what's the first name of this writer? Kyrian Gillen? Kyrian? This writer's doing a great job with this character. Really gets Darth Vader, because it would have been so easy to just forget the history of Anakin and just kind of put it off to the side. But no, the writer totally gets this and makes all the prequel stuff work for Anakin, and the Clone Wars stuff is very present in here too, so that's really great. Just really good series of books. These 3 issues that I was able to pick up, these back issues or whatever, reprints, really are helping to round out the story and some of the stuff. The first issue here having this this ending scene. Let me find it real quick. Oh, wait, before I find that. I like that Boba Fett has a Wookiee sidekick of his own. That's just awesome. Anyway, this ending scene of the first issue, I think, really does show that. It's Darth Vader killing killing sand people. Darth Vader killing Yetis, because why not? No, it's Darth Vader killing sand people, which it's building off of that really flawed character of Anakin and making it work for him. So what we're getting in this, though, really is just, it's perfect motivation for him, and as he's tracking down this Force user that destroyed the Death Star, Luke. And he's using Boba Fett to do that, and he's on Tatooine where he doesn't want to be. Oh, man. Can't breathe. In the 4th issue, I talked about how it has a lot to do with Geonosis and him getting a robot army for himself. Just some cool stuff in here. It's a little bit of a budding romance between Darth Vader and this chick that he's walking around the galaxy with. And then there's evil C-3PO that tortures people, which is cool, I guess. That's funny. They've actually completely replaced C-3PO and R2-D2 with these just killer robots, which is kind of fun. Mad scientist kind of robots, which is cool. I mean, you got an R2-D2 there with an arsenal of explosives just blowing shit up, which is neat. And then the 5th issue just builds up to the 6th issue, which I talked about, where Darth Vader discovers these biological force equivalent users, or not biological, cybernetic force equivalency users. And it's interesting enough. I don't know. I don't love that premise, but it is cool to see Darth Vader kind of deal with that. And, you know, like I said, just Palpatine constantly challenging him to prove that he's worthy of being taught is great stuff to read, too. So, yeah, this has been a great book so far, and I've really been enjoying it, and I'm glad that I was able to catch up on what's going on in the background. Which leads to this issue number 7, wherein it's just Darth Vader tracking down the movements of Luke. So he goes to the house that Luke grew up in and finds what happened there, and realizes it was the Empire and blah blah blah. And it also has him go to the cabin of Kenobi, and that's cool stuff too. There's this cool Lego Star Wars advertisement, and like it totally just suckered me in, and I'm gonna go find that set sometime. Yeah, so it's Darth Vader just tracking his movements, and then we get some cool underground dealings with the Empire and the Hutt clans and the crime syndicates out in the Outer Rim, where the Empire is supporting the Hutts, which is a cool idea. What else? And then we have kind of like a backstabby. This really is a spy book in a lot of ways. We've got this covert Black Ops kind of thing going on where the girl here has been the one tagging along with Darth Vader, and she's planning to betray him and try to steal this supply of this guy's life savings, basically, that the Empire confiscated because he was a crime syndicate that was working against. He was the leader of a crime organization that was working against the Hutts. So you've got, you know, deception, and everyone's out for themselves, and everyone's keeping secrets from each other, which is it's really cool. It's a multiple tiered book, which is just great, and even this cover is pretty clever because it reflects what I think one of the best shots in the original Star Wars series. Hold on one sec. I don't believe that's given in the concept art of this thing. It'd be cool if it was, though. No, it doesn't look like it. Oh well. There's this brilliant shot of Anakin, kind of similar to this. There's this brilliant shot of Anakin in The Phantom Menace when he's leaving the hut and his shadow is cast onto the little dome behind him, and it's the shadow of Darth Vader, which is great. And we kind of get that same thing going on here, which is really cool. You get that call back. So yeah, this is a really good book. I enjoyed the other Star Wars book. It's just not quite what I wanted from that. So I didn't feel the need to pick it up anymore. But this is just really clever, really good stuff, and I'm really enjoying it. I don't know why. I just always find the Sith more interesting than the Jedi. There might be something wrong with me. My bad. Okay, let's go ahead and go on to maybe... Hold on. Yeah, I got 6 minutes. Let's go ahead and go on and talk about trades. This is the only trade I got this week that I read through. And this was so good. This is a collection of the first year of this Zorro comic strip that was coming out in newspapers. And it is just so well done. The guy here has a perfect voice for Zorro. And he captures the excitement. It feels like such a callback to the Disney show, but it's just got a lot more action. And there's some pretty good like not, I don't want to say gore because it's still a newspaper, it's still family stuff, but there's a little more of like that an edge to it, or a point. Get it? Because Zorro uses swords. Anyway, so yeah, this is by Don McGregor. And like I said, it's really cool to read through and get to see. and he captures so much here, and it's really well done. There's this one panel toward like the very end. The action in it is great too, but there's this through line story about a woman whose body was found in a tar pit, and she was an Indian, and so Zorro wanted to get her body to the sea, and so he has to fight the military to get that to happen. And then he gets her back to her people and puts her body to rest in the sea. And then he's told by one of her people that she was pregnant. And Zorro is able to piece together that it was one of the soldiers who was involved in the chase and everything that had killed her and gotten her pregnant in the first place. So he goes to confront the soldiers, or the soldier that did it. And there's just this great scene where he accuses him. And the soldier goes, "She's an Indian woman. No one cares how she died. Who's going to do anything about it?" And just have this amazing panel of Zorro, and he says, "Me. I am. I care." It's just, look at it. Look at how awesome it is. It's so cool. Zorro's such a badass. God, as much as I love Batman, I love Zorro too. It's just that, like, why haven't we gotten a crossover of them? And then it's like, the only problem I have with this is there isn't a second volume, and there was meant to be. Look at that; it says 1 right on the spine. But we're never going to get a second volume. Or, well, no, we did. I correct that. I went to look online for the second volume of this, and I found out that in 2013, there were 50 copies made. Each of them cost $50. They're not available now. There was the second year of this Dailies book, so I've got to see if I can find the strips online somewhere, because it's just, it was so good. This was coming out in 1999 into 2000. It was just, it was right off the heels of the Antonio Banderas movie, and so well done. Set up against this really cool villain who used like trick swords. Like, he has a sword that when he thrusts with it, he can press a button and the blade will extend out farther. So there's this cool fight scene where Zorro's fighting him, and he tries to like step aside to avoid the guy's thrust, or step back to avoid the guy's thrust, and then the blade comes out further and is able to wound him. And then when they're locked and he's trying to like grab the guy's sword away from him, he has another button where some talons like reach out from the blade, or not from the blade, from the hilt, and like pierce Zorro's hands, so he's like wounded very, very badly in the fight. So it's just really cool. And then there's a this really funny ongoing gag about a serpent spear. Yeah, it's just this really neat like rope weapon that has this neat spearhead on the end of it, so it's able to kind of retract and has a lot of weight to it, and can do a shit ton of damage. You see it used really well. God, it's just so brilliant. Oh man, the guy perfectly got this. There's a cool carriage chase, and there's like, people falling off horses, and Zorro jumping off the carriage, and oh man, it was so neat. I had so much fun reading through this. It's really great, Zorro. I got a smile on my face just thinking about it. It's so much fun to read through it, and he's just doing it all for a woman who's already dead, just out of respect for her, and that's like the perfect thing for Zorro. It's like, it's not even about him. It's not about, it's not about basic rights or anything. It's just about what's the right thing to do. It's so high morality that no one even has to have been hurt, because at the time he knows she was murdered, but that's not even his issue. It's just making sure her body is given the respect it deserves, and that's all he goes through this to do, and that's just great. And he gets injured and all this other stuff just for her. Look at that panel. That's such a cool panel. Zorro jumping off the top of a carriage into the to slide into it. That's so cool. Zorro's awesome. Need more Zorro stuff. I want a Zorro movie to come out again. It's been 10 years. But yeah, great stuff. I love Zorro. And this is handled really well. Only issue I have with it is he gives this girl that's been helping him throughout the chase over to Garcia as the carriage is about to flip over. Like, he hands her off to Sergeant Garcia, who's written quite well. And I would have preferred if she got to stick with Zorro and be kind of like a female companion, kind of like a Batgirl or something like that. But as it is, it's okay. Like, nothing bad happens to her. That's the important part. If something bad had happened, that would have also been interesting. But she's just kind of seems to be okay, at least from this. To be fair, maybe something else does end up happening with her. But I was a little disappointed that they don't go a bit further with it. But yeah. Really, really good book. There are a lot of copies of this volume, Zorro the Dailies, Volume 1, the first year. That's definitely worth picking up. And if you ever see the second volume, grab it, because there are 50 in the world. And I think most of them were made in Germany. Sucks. Anyway. This has been Comic Reviews for the week. I hope you all enjoyed very much. If you have a book, like an ongoing book that you'd like me to pick up, please leave it in the comments below. Or if you can think of a trade that you'd like me to try to get my hands on to talk about, then leave that in the comments below too. The next trade I should be talking about is The Birth of Venom, Spider-Man Birth of Venom, and then eventually Vengeance of Venom. And then I'm going to get back into some Sandman. I'm still keeping an eye out for Godzilla, the Half-Century War, because I've heard a lot of things about that. So hopefully I'll be able to pick all that up. Everyone, thank you for watching, though. This has been Comic Reviews. Bye.